All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and salutations to the Akim out there, spreading this truth like wildfire in all truthfulness and in all sincerity. And shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect out there. Alright, I wanted to do video. I'm trying to make it quick, but it might not be so quick. But it's gonna be on this great replacement theory. And what really inspired me to do it is that the show Redacted is now supporting the great replacement theory. And I'm gonna show y'all where it comes from because it's a very primal fear. It's a very primal fear in these Edomites, man. They think that they're going to be replaced, or they're afraid of becoming a minority and the same shit happening to them that they did to everybody else. They're afraid of that because they know, and let me tell you why, because they know justice is coming. They know Yahweh Shai is coming back, but they think it's going to happen beforehand. They're always on the lookout for it to happen. And this theory is actually not new. It's actually very old. And let me get to this quote by Benjamin Franklin. Why should Pennsylvania, founded by the English, become a colony of aliens who will shortly be so numerous as to Germanize us instead of our Anglifying them, and will never adopt our language or customs any more than they can acquire our complexion? Ooh. So what do you see when you picture a German? You picture a so-called white man, right? Well, why would he say that if the original Germans were so-called white? That's more proof that the original Germans were darker skinned. 24, which leads me to believe, to add one remark, that the number of purely so-called white people in this world is proportionally very small. All Africa is black or tawny. Asia chiefly tawny, which is brown skin. Tawny is brown skin. A lot of so-called black people, they fit that description of tawny. America exclusive of the newcomer's holy soul. And in Europe, the Spaniards, Italians, French, Russians, and Swedes are generally what we call a swarthy complexion, as are the Germans also. The Saxons only accepted, who with the English make the principal body of so-called white people on the face of the earth. I could wish their numbers were increased. And it cuts off. This is better. This is better. And while we are, as a man call it, scouring our planet by clearing America of woods, and so making the side of our globe reflect a brighter light to the eyes of inhabitants of Mars or Venus, why should we, in the sight of superior beings, darken its people? Why increase the sons of Africa by planting them in America when we have so fair an opportunity by excluding all so-called blacks and Tonys, of increasing the lovely so-called white and red? Well, perhaps I'm partial to the complexion of my country, for such kind of partiality is natural to mankind. But anyways, Esau, Edom, back then, you had Benjamin Franklin, who was an Edomite. He believed in the believed in the replacement theory. If you look at it, he was he did. He did. He did. And so Esau has always feared becoming small among the heathen. Esau has always feared that. So this great replacement theory, it's not new. It's not new. The great replacement in the United States is the American version of a so-called white nationalist far-right conspiracy theory, which they use that a lot to try to debunk truth. But also in this case, Esau is scared of becoming a minority, because then he thinks that the same shit that was done to him is going to be done. That he did is going to be done to him. That's what I meant to say. But soon it's not going to be a conspiracy theory, because Yahweh Shai is coming back. Yahweh Shai is coming back, and he's gonna bring back judgment. He's going to bring judgment upon Esau. 1,000 years of slave for Esau. Then Esau is going to be deleted. Let me get that. Let me get Salakia. Let me get first small among the heathen. Obadiah 1 and 2. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. And let me get Obadiah 1 and 7. Let me get this first in Isaiah. Isaiah 14, verse 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. Verse 1. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Verse 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord, the land of Yahweh, for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. They shall rule over their oppressors, right? So they're going to be slaves, these Edomites. Revelation 13 and 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killed with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints. And let me get Obadiah 1 and 18. Because after all this, they ain't going to be around no more. Obadiah 1 and 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh has spoken it. Now let me read y'all what it says right here. The great replacement in the United States is the American version of a so-called white nationalist far-right conspiracy theory that racial minorities are displacing the traditional so-called white American population and taking control of the nation. Versions of the theory have become commonplace, quote unquote, in the Republican Party of the United States and have also become a major issue of political debate. It also has stimulated violent responses, including mass murders. Fucking scammers calling me and shit. Spammers and scammers. Anyways, it resembles the great replacement theory promoted in Europe, but has its origins in American nativism around 1900. And I showed you that it goes even beyond past that. It goes even past that. It goes past that because they were saying they didn't want the Irish over here. The Irish, which a lot of them, the Irish were Jakes that were coming over here. They didn't want them over here. And then before, with the so-called Germans that were actually so-called black, the Moors that were ruling Germany were coming over here. But anyways, has its origins in American nativism around 1900. According to Erica Lee, in 1894, the old stock Yankee upper class founders of the Immigration Restriction League were quote unquote convinced that Anglo-Saxon traditions people, they call themselves Anglo-Saxon, but the original ones were Jake. They're so-called black people. That's where Benjamin Franklin lied, because even though they could technically be Saxons, because Saxons be sons of Isaac and Esau is the sons of Isaac, but is the son of Isaac. But angelic sons, nah, that's Jacob. So he was lying then, because it just so happened that a lot of the original English people, which were Jakes, were being replaced. See, they did that to us. We're being replaced by Edomites, so-called white people. And so there was a large amount of them, even though the king was still a Jake. But anyways, we're convinced that Anglo-Saxon so-called traditions, peoples, and culture were being drowned in a flood of racially inferior foreigners from southern and eastern Europe. Which a lot of those were probably Jake too. So Esau has always had this this fear. Esau has always had this fear that Jake or another heathen nation was going to replace them and do to them what they did to Jake. They did to our people, and what they did to these other heathen nations. I'm pull up a quote by Thomas Jefferson. Yep, Thomas Jefferson. He said, "I tremble for my country when I reflect that God, who he called God really the Most High, Yahweh, is just, that his justice cannot sleep forever." And so, these devils, they know that that justice is coming for them. They know it. Thomas Jefferson, he himself, he knew, and he still, and he still owned them slaves who were Jakes, so-called black people. But yeah, Thomas Jefferson said it best, and he knew. I tremble for my country when I reflect that God is just, that His justice cannot sleep forever. So he knew that payback is coming, man, for everything that he was doing to Jake, everything that he and his people was doing to Jake. So that's why, and these Edomites, deep down, they know. That's why they're always looking over their shoulder for that. And the shit that the guest on that redacted show said, he said that that he said that Jake, the so-called black people, or the Judites, the so-called black people, they're mainly Judah, is gonna kill off Esau in America, right? That Jake is gonna kill Esau off in America, and then the Northern Kingdom, the so-called Latinos, they're gonna kill off Jake. Like, it's not gonna happen while these elites are still ruling. It's not gonna happen while America's still standing. What he said, which that's not gonna happen that way either, since the Northern and Southern Kingdom there's gonna be harmony. First, let me cut that. Let me cut that real quick. Isaiah 11 and 13. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. So, so-called black people, well, the envy also of Ephraim towards so-called black people, towards Judah, the envy of so-called Latinos and Native Americans towards so-called black people is going to depart. And the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. But also, let me cut the idea that any of this is going to happen while the elites are still ruling. Or no, let me get that. Because that's what we're going to do. Zephaniah 3 and 8, which he's already rising to the prey, but not to the fullest. But let me get this scripture. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. He's going to gather the nations in the Middle East, the so-called Middle East, Western Asia, really. Yeah, yeah. Joel 3, 7, and 8. Behold, I will raise them out of. Let me read up. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Sidon, on all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? Verse 5, because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. Verse 6, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. Verse 7, watch this. Behold, I will raise them out of their place, whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. Verse 8, and I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabaeans, to people far off, for Yahweh has spoken it. And Tyre and Sidon, that's the indigenous Africans. The so-called, the Hamites, the indigenous Africans. And all the coasts of Palestine, that would be, that would be, would be Amalek, but it would also be Ishmael. The Amalekites are what? They're Edomites. And let me get Psalms 83. Nah, let me get. Hold on. So basically, I think I proved my point. Well, while there is going to be a race war in the U.S., in Babylon, here in Babylon. It's not going to turn out like they say it's going to turn out. As Esau has the blessing of the sword. Which will be a partial fulfillment of this right here. Zechariah 9 and 13. When I bent Judah for me, filled the bow with Ephraim, and raised up thy sons, O Zion, against thy sons, O Greece, and made thee as the sword of a mighty man. Ultimately, it's going to be when the ultimate fulfillment of this is going to be this. It's going to be when Esau rolls. But still, the 2/3 are going to be completely decimated. Let me get that. I'm going to get this first, though. Zechariah 12 and 8. In that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as powers. Says Elohim, really Allahayim. I'm going to break the Hebrew down. As the angel of Yahweh before them. Verse 9, it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. Notice, he's going to defend. But how is he going to do it? He's going to raise up. He's going to give spiritual powers. He's going to do it, not the elites. He's going to give spiritual powers to his men. Isaiah 59:19 is when Esau rolls. So shall they fear this is when you devils roll. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai shall lift up a standard against him. Verse 20, the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto him that turned from transgression. And Jacob, saith Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So that's when these devils roll on our people, when they roll on the elect. Because a lot of 2/3, let me show you, 2/3 are going to be taken out. The 2/3 are going to be taken out. Zechariah 13 and 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, Yahweh is my power. But the whole point is verse 8. Then I can get this. Ezekiel 21 and 9. Son of man, prophesy and say, thus saith Yahweh, say, a sword is sharpened, and also furbished. Verse 10, it is sharpened to make us for slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? And condemneth the rod of my son is every tree. Verse 11, and he hath given it to be furbished, that it may be handled. His sword is sharpened, and it is furbished, to give into the hand of the slayer. Verse 12, cry and howl, son of man, For it shall be upon my people, it shall be upon all the princes of Israel. Terrors by reason of the sword shall be upon my people. Smite thereof, therefore, upon thy thigh. So there you go. Two-thirds are going to be two-thirds of you so-called black people, Latinos, and Native Americans are going to be cut off on this side. And Israelite foreigners looking like the other nations, aka speckled birds here in the States, in Babylon. They're going to be cut off by the sword. And who's the sword? Psalm 17 and 13. Arise, O Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my sword, my soul from. Arise, O Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. That's Esau. Malachi, another way to tell is Malachi 1 and 3. The wicked was a sword, right? Malachi 1 and 3. And I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Verse 4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build a desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build her up, but I will throw down. They shall call them a border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh and the indignation forever. And with that, I'm gonna wrap it up. I hope this video was edifying. I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who were well. Peace and salutations to the Akim out there spreading this truth like wildfire in all truthfulness and in all sincerity. And shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect out there. You know, Abad Babal, death to Babylon. Abad La Adawamium, death to these Edomites. Abad La Gawayim, death to these other nations. Wa Abad La Adawamium. Wa Abala Ayabium Nawa, that's the rest of our enemies, which are two-thirds of you so-called black people, Latinos, Native Americans, and you speckled birds, aka Israelite foreigners looking like the other nations, as well as you wicked Israelites scattered to the four corners of the earth. Shalom, stay strong, Abba Babal, Wa, and Yasharallah forever.